Hello and welcome to the Vapid Discussion Podcast. I'm your host, Chip. I'm here with Christian, Senior Caribou, Synthetic, whatever you want to call him. Whatever he
Patrick
calls
Star.
himself. Patrick Star for some reason.
Because I live under that rock.
I think I told you this, did you hear that a second SpongeBob movie leaked on Twitter?
Um, yeah, you told me a little bit of that.
I think
I
it's
didn't look
funny.
into it at all.
I think it's funny that it happened not once, but twice. And both
Yeah,
movies are
and
bad. That's also
and the way
like a
you
part of it's
and the
funny.
way you worded it was a second SpongeBob movie has hit Twitter.
Yeah, yeah,
That's, that's like the second striking of a certain
yeah.
tower.
Yeah, so people were talking about like a while ago about like 9/11 for whatever reason, and someone's like, "Oh, can you imagine people making jokes about 9/11 when it just happened?" And someone posted a picture of it was like an edit of like Goku kicking the Trade Center, and it was made on 9/11. And my first
Oh
thought was,
wow.
do you think that someone made a meme or a joke about the first one being hit, and then when the second one got hit, they felt kind of bad about it?
I'd like to imagine they didn't even know what was happening. They just had that meme ready.
No, because it was the thing exploding. Like they took the screenshot of
Oh
like the
shit.
news, and then they just put a Goku
Oh
thing on
shit.
it. So what I think like happened was that the guy who made that like thought it was funny, and then a second plane hit the trade center, a second trade center, and then
It's
he
like, oh
felt bad
shit.
about it, and then he like took it down, and then he found out that like a third plane hit the Pentagon. He's like, okay, well this is not like, okay, now I don't feel bad about it because now you're just putting a hat on a hat.
Yep.
Yeah, 9/11 is pretty funny.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Um, I
So
suppose, like, I guess, like, there's other things I want to talk about, but I suppose talking about 9/11, like, really segues well into the question of the week. So,
yeah.
again, no one commented, so nobody won still. We got more views and some likes, but no one actually commented
The
on who won, so still there's no winners.
the winner is just in eternal limbo.
Yeah, so hopefully that changes. Just one person comments who wins, and then everything will be fine. So, the question of the week for this week is, well, first of all, we all know that violence solves everything,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Now, what is the biggest problem that was solved with violence?
I think the biggest problem that was solved with violence was in 2015 in Afghanistan when Obama released he gave the order for an attack on Afghanistan and it struck the Kunduz hospital
I
and
don't,
it
I don't know
and
what
it
that is.
solved the You don't know what that is?
No.
I was really banking on you knowing this because you know everything.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. You have to, if you think I know something, I won't.
I just think you don't know anything. Uh, Basically, in 2015, Obama gave the go ahead to call down an airstrike, and a hospital was hit on the crossfire, if you will.
Okay, so how was what was the actual problem being solved?
The Afghanistan people just being there,
So the problem
and
was
all
that
of a
there was
sudden they weren't there.
so the problem being solved is Afghanistanis being alive.
Yeah.
Okay. How many Afghanistanis died?
42 were killed, 32 were injured.
42.
Sorry,
Yes.
42 were killed, 30 were injured.
Yeah. So that's like less than 100 people. And there's more
Yeah,
than
but
a 100
it's still pretty
Afghanistanis.
funny because it was Obama.
I mean, yeah, but the problem is like the question is what was the biggest problem that was solved? If the problem is Afghanistanis being alive, then the bombing wouldn't have fixed the problem.
It could have if it was a better shot.
Bob could have, coulda, shoulda, woulda. That's like the big thing. You can't focus too much on what could have happened, how it should have went down, what you would have done. All that matters is what you did and and what happened, right?
Right.
I could have bought Bitcoin 2 years ago and I would have made a bunch of money, but instead I bought it 3 days ago, and then I lost like $20.
Right when the crash happened.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm exaggerating. I lost like $5, but that's
well, yeah, that's all right if you
yeah.
exaggerate a little bit.
Okay, so your answer for what is the biggest problem that was solved with violence? Your answer was Afghanistanis being alive.
Yep, there's a little bit of bias there with the Obama in there, but yeah.
Yeah. You see, the point was it's not about like what the actual violence was; it's about what the violence accomplished.
Mm.
For example, all right, let's go back to 9/11. All right, so
Yeah, yeah.
9/11.
I was actually gonna go back to
They
9/11. I
they
was just like,
flew a
what?
plane into some buildings, and what did it accomplish? Well,
It made everyone's lives worse.
nothing. Yeah, nothing really. Like, I mean, it accomplished making people realize that the government was like full of liars and shit, which I guess was part of the problem. It didn't stop U.S. imperialism. It certainly didn't get Americans out of the Middle East. In fact, it made that problem worse.
Hmm. And now we have to stand in
Yeah.
TSA.
Yeah. Now, compare that to
That's a real problem.
the attempt at blowing up Hitler in the bunker. Now, granted, it failed, but if it did succeed, then it would have killed what, like 20 people at most? But it would have solved the problem of World War II.
Yeah, yeah,
So the violence is smaller, but the recoil is bigger. And we're focusing on the recoil, the problem that it would have been solved.
yeah.
All right, is there anything else you want to add to your
No, my brain is at slow mode today.
Okay,
It's
it's gonna get much worse when I explain mine.
okay.
All right, Christian. How much do you know about your namesake?
Nothing.
You know nothing. You know nothing about Christianity.
I know Jesus exists. He's real.
Okay.
Well,
And what did Jesus do?
depends on who you ask. Some people would say he's like a carpenter. You know, some people say he died for our sins.
All right. So, there you have it. Jesus dying is is the event that redeemed all of mankind according to Christianity.
Holy shit! I already know where you're going with this.
Because Jesus died, all of the sins of humanity that exist before then was washed away, and all people after him who knew him and accepted salvation from him would also have their sins washed away.
Yeah, you know what? Your logic is sound.
Think of it.
I'm thinking.
If Jesus didn't die, humanity was never redeemed. That means everyone who has died but was not perfect
Yeah,
for their entire
yeah.
life would be in hell for eternity. That's an infinite amount of suffering for a theoretically infinite amount of people.
Man, thank
I
God
mean,
for
there's
Jesus.
like a yeah. Hypothetically, there's like a hard cap to like how many people can like exist, I guess, because like heat death and shit. But do you know? All right, so
Heat
Jesus, yeah, you know, heat death the universe,
Yeah.
or
But-
like my point being like entropy. There's a point where like humans could like there's not enough resources for humans to reproduce. We'll eventually all die out eventually from something. So it's not it's a only a theoretically infinite, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the thought about how the universe could be infinite, and that means that possibilities could overlap, basically.
Well, the universe isn't infinite.
Well, you don't know that.
We do know that because it has a finite beginning.
There is the observable universe, and then there's outside of the observable universe,
Okay, but if
which
something
we don't
has
know what exists out there.
if something has a beginning point, and unless it's moving with infinite speed, which it can't be because that's like against the laws of physics, then
Yeah.
we know how fast the universe is expanding, which means that it's very very big. It's expanding, but it's not infinite.
Okay.
Think of it like a balloon, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You could like blow up the balloon, but it's not. It's growing, but it's not infinite.
And so you're saying the universe is a big ass fucking balloon.
Yeah, basically. That's like rubber band theory. That like once all energy is like distributed evenly across the universe, then it'll just collapse in on itself and then re-explode again and expand again, and then that's basically all of reality is just this big infinite loop of like expansion and contraction,
Huh.
like a rubber band.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So onto the violence
I'm
aspect.
I'm process I'm processing what you've told me.
Yeah. So onto the violence aspect. I recently watched The Passion by Mel Gibson,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone says it's like either the best movie ever made or the worst movie ever made. And I think it was a good movie that has like some really bad flaws. Mainly, it was jump scares. Like they add for some reason, Mel Gibson thought it was a good idea to add like demon jump scares, like it's a fucking Conjuring movie, to the Passion of the Christ, and that kind of ruined a part of it. Like there's a bit where like when Jesus like dies, like he's
Yeah.
finally dead, and you think, oh, there's gonna be some reverence, like a moment of silence for like this big thing, like the most important thing to ever happen in human history up to a point. But
Yeah.
it just immediately cuts like Satan in a field screaming and flailing around like a fucking conjuring monster.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've never seen this movie before.
Oh, well,
Like most things.
I'm just gonna describe what happens because it's the story of Jesus, and you should have already known this by now, just through cultural osmosis. So,
Nope.
all right, there's a guy named Jesus, right?
No.
Okay, well, there's a guy named Jesus, right?
Yeah.
All right, there's a guy named Jesus, and he's God, right?
Yep. Yep. I'm tracking.
All right, and he tells his guys, he's like, okay, listen, um, what's gonna happen is you, the guy over there, you're gonna like deny me 3 times, which is like, but it's just more so like to demonstrate like his prophecy, which
Mm-hmm.
he ends up being redeemed, whatever. But the point is like, he's like, okay, one of you guys, and he just like just stares at Judas like, one of you guys is gonna screw me over, um, but don't worry, it's gonna be all right. It's all part of the plan. And
Yeah.
then Judas goes and sells him out for money, and he gets all pissed. He like regrets it, and then he dies eventually. But the point being that Jesus is like, okay, I got sold out. What's gonna happen here? And the Pharisees, like the people who were like running like the Jewish temple at the time, they want Jesus dead because he's claiming to be the Messiah. He's like proclaiming himself God. He's like, there's this thing that like happens in Judaism where they have like really really like kind of stupid laws, and Jesus was like, hey, you guys are like obeying the letter of the law but not the spirit of the law, right?
Uh
like
huh.
like you guys are like refusing to eat pork because it's unclean, but in the same time you're like using your position within the church to like make land deals and shit, which is like totally fucked, right? He's basically calling them
Yeah.
like, it's like, okay, so you're just picking and choosing what rules you actually want to follow because you're not obeying the spirit of the law. And they're like, okay, well, this guy's gonna cost us money, so we gotta kill him. And they don't have like, because they're occupied by Rome, right? They don't have the authority to just kill people.
Okay.
And so what happens is they go and they arrest him, and they take him to Pilate, who is like who's like in charge. He's like the governor of Judea. He's like in charge of the Jews. He's a Roman guy.
Ooh.
And they say, hey, this guy is a problem. We need to kill him. And he's like, why? He's like, well, he claims to be Messiah. Like, you guys like, well, that's like a stupid religion thing, because he came as a Roman guy. He doesn't care about like Judaism. He's like, that's
Yeah.
like your stupid religion. I don't care. You can't kill a guy for that. You can put him in jail or whatever, but like you can't kill him. And then they say, well, actually, part of our thing is that Messiah is actually the true king of Israel.
Oh.
Which and you can't have a guy proclaiming himself king of Israel, because that kind of goes against what the Romans have in order, which you can't proclaim yourself to be ruler of these people because they have a guy who they put in charge or they're allowed to be in charge. Basically, by proclaiming himself to be king, he's kind of undermining the rule of the Romans. And so Pilate's like, hey, Jesus, are you actually claiming to be, like, king? And he's like, well, like, in a metaphorical sense, like, my kingdom is like heavenly. He's like, oh, this is just like an allegory. We're in an allegory right now. And so he goes to the Jews like, hey, this is stupid.
Seems
I'm not dealing with this anymore. Caesar's on my ass because you guys keep fucking around. I don't want nothing to do with this. Go to your actual king, King Herod. Have him deal with it.
seems like a reasonable guy.
Yeah. Pilate is actually known for being like a massive hard ass and like being like unnecessarily cruel. And like the point is that he's so unnecessarily cruel, but even he can see like Jesus isn't like actually guilty. So they go to Herod, and then Herod is like, I don't want to deal with this. Go back to Pilate. So they go back to Pilate, and then Pilate's pissed off because it comes back to him, and he's like, okay, listen, I have an
Bible
idea.
for dummies, by the way.
Yes, Bible for dummies. This is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. I could once a year we're allowed to set free one prisoner. We're allowed to pardon one prisoner. We could pardon Jesus, this guy who just tells people to like love one another and to be forgiving and to obey the spirit of the law, not necessarily the letter, and to that like all people will be united under like one like metaphorical king that represents like kind of human compassion. Or
Yeah.
Barabbas. I can't pronounce his name.
Barbarous?
Barbarous. We'll call him Ricky the Rapist because his story he's like a serial rapist murderer who like raped and murdered like 1 million people. And it's like, okay, we can set free Jesus or Ricky the Rapist. And the Jews are like, set free Ricky the Rapist. And he's like, what's the matter with you people? And then he's like, okay, fine, Ricky the Rapist gets to go free. And then just like runs off to, I assume, go and rape and murder some more. And then he's like, okay, well, we're not gonna kill Jesus. I'll have him like whipped, and then that'll be enough. So they go and they whip Jesus. But like, it's not like, even like slavery whipping, which is like a actual whip. They use it's like, you know what a cat o' nine tails is?
I think so.
It's like a whip that has like nine or like a bunch of strands on it, with either like little pieces of bone or hooks or metal balls, and it rips out skin, it like cracks bones. It's really fucking brutal, and they just like whip the shit out of them, and then they bring it back to Pilate, and Pilate's like, "What the fuck did you do? I just said like kick the shit out of him. Don't. He looks like he's gonna die. Like I think he's gonna. There's no way this guy's gonna live past through this." And then he's like, listen, Jesus, just like, tell me what you want me to do, because I don't want to kill you, but these guys want to kill you. What exactly do you want me to do here? And Jesus is like, well, you don't actually have any power over my life. And then he's like, all right, you know what? Fuck this. I'm done. Do what you want with him. And then they go to crucify Jesus. They like. It's not just but they also do shit like they get a bunch of like thorns and shit, like brambles, and they make a little crown for him. They put it on, so now he has like thorns in his eyes. There's like needles shoved into his eyes.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's what the thorny crown is. Like it's digging into his skin. They give him like a robe, like a wool robe, but it's like soaking into his skin. And his like skin, it's all ripped to shreds, is fusing into the wool, and then they rip it out. So like his back is even worse because it's like ripping off a Band-Aid on like just flayed flesh. And then normally when they do crucifixion, they just have you carry the top bar, but they decide to like build the whole cross and then make him carry the entire fucking thing. And on account of the fact that they just beat him with an inch of his life, he couldn't actually carry it all the way, so he had to have some other guy help him. And then they nail him to the fucking thing, and you know, like when you get nailed to the
No.
thing, like with the way you're positioned and the shock you're in, you can't actually breathe. Like most of the reasons people die on the cross is through asphyxiation, because you have to like lift yourself up to breathe and you can't exhale, so you get like carbon monoxide poisoning in your blood because you can't exhale. And
I did not think we were gonna have a Bible for Dummies session.
yeah, we're having about we'll do more Bible for Dummies later. But he anyway. So the point is that there's like two other guys, and one guy's like, "Yo, if you're actually God, then save yourself." And the other guy's like, "Dude, don't be an idiot. Obviously, this is clearly done for a purpose. I'm sorry. You should feel sorry because both of us deserve to be here, and this is just some guy who like wanted people to get along, and now they're killing him in the most horrible way imaginable." And then he's like, "You know what? You're all right. Other guy, you kind of fucked up here." And then like in the movie, he gets his eyes picked out by crows and shit, but I don't think that actually happened in the Bible. And then Jesus is like on there for a couple days, and the way they kill you on the cross is, well, if you don't die from asphyxiation or blood loss or shock, then what they do is they break your legs so you can't lift yourself up to breathe, and you just suffocate that way. And they go to break Jesus' legs, but he was already dead. So they just kind of like stab him to make sure he's dead. And then and that's how he died. In the most like unnecessarily horrific way imaginable.
Okay. So that was the movie, or the movie and the Bible?
Yeah. It's a Bible movie.
Okay.
The movie's about the Bible.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
the point is that all that excessive, unnecessary violence ended up saving all of humanity. So that's why humanity going to hell forever is the biggest problem that was solved with violence.
Damn, yeah, that's actually just a great answer.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to go, "Oh God," this time. Like that's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Also, another funny thing about the crucifixion. There was a bit where it's where the term excruciating comes from, because it's that bad. And Julius Caesar was kidnapped by pirates one time, and he's like, "I'm gonna live long enough to see you guys crucified." And then he eventually was recovered, and like they say, "So we're gonna crucify these guys?" Like, actually, like I've talked to them, I kind of know their names. I don't want that to happen, so we're just gonna normally murder them, and so they just slit their throats, which is how they normally do executions in ancient Rome. And then, yeah,
Neat.
there was actually one story where it was like some, like general or whoever, was traveling with Caesar, because they used that as the term, but like whoever the emperor was, and he saw like three of his friends crucified, or like three people he knew crucified, and he's like, "Hey, Emperor, can we like get those guys down, because like I actually like them?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever, it's your guys." So they bring the three guys down, and they are given the best doctors that Rome had. These were doctors that were traveling with the emperor of the known world, and they were only able to manage to save two of them.
Wow.
But one guy survived. Imagine the amount of clout you have walking into a bar and saying, "Hey, I was crucified and I lived."
You know, I'm getting flashbacks to the old podcasts where you would do a lot of the talking and I would do a lot of the listening.
Yeah. Well, that's basically my the problem. That's the question of the day. The question of the day was, what was the biggest problem solved with violence? You said Iraqis being alive, and I said all of humanity going to hell.
You're right. Hey, who won that? Who won? I
Yeah,
wonder.
go in the comments, and somehow you have the more offensive question, which is
Somehow today
which,
I have the more
which I have
offensive
no
answer.
idea how, because I specifically designed these questions so that I could make the most insane thing imaginable.
I wanted to out Obama with mine, and you gave an actually good answer. What?
Yeah, we did it backwards because normally I'd be saying something about Obama. Did you did you ever see the Reddit thing where Reddit made it, like a Reddit mod made a post saying something about like civilian casualties? Okay, it's like actually there were no civilian casualties under Obama. They retroactively declared all of them combatants, which is like insane.
Oh, that's kind of them.
It's not, because it basically means like, oh, so like
I know it's not
that
kind of them.
kid that kid who was like in like a church that got blown up is now
He was a combatant.
Yeah, which is fucked.
That is, yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So, I speaking of off topic, I finally got a new VR headset, and I used it to play videos while I was doing the dishes because you can see pass through. You
I
can
mean,
like see the real world and it's augmented reality
you could just put
type
like
thing.
your phone next to the sink.
Mm-mm. No, this is way more fun. And also, there's not really any good spots for me to put my phone at the sink. If if I put it like anywhere near it, water's gonna just fucking drench it. Um, so it was fun to do that today. That's like the most fun I've had in my week.
I love the idea of like you going back in time and like showing like a guy from like the 1950s, like virtual reality. Like, what do you use this amazing technology for? It's like, yeah, I just used to watch like fucking SpongeBob tier lists while I'm doing my dishes.
Oh, dude, SpongeBob tier list. What do you even think the tier list would be about?
Um,
Best character?
Probably best episodes.
Ooh.
Because like there's like some really good. Oh, so the one SpongeBob like artist animator guy, he made a comment. It's like, the episode where like Mr. Krabs and Mrs. Puff go on a date, and he's like, SpongeBob spends all his money.
I remember that.
He's like, yeah, that episode sucks because like, I mean, yeah, it was like fun to animate and people like it, but from the creative side, it sucked because the entire episode was just getting to the point where SpongeBob curses at Mr. Krabs. Like every decision made was just to get to that point.
Oh man.
Yeah, we almost it's like, yeah, we almost scrapped it, like had it work for a different episode.
SpongeBob just getting really pissed off is some of my favorite shit.
Yeah.
Like when Squidward decides that he doesn't want to work anymore. I don't remember why, but he just starts living at SpongeBob's house.
He got fired.
Oh yeah, SpongeBob brings up the soup. It's like, get a job.
Yeah. And he starts yelling. There's one where it's like, Mr. Krabs, I want to go to bed. When he's playing the game. The
Oh yeah,
Flying Dutchman's
the game.
Treasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, classic
I
SpongeBob
bet
is
they don't.
great.
I bet they don't do Angry SpongeBob in the new stuff anymore. I haven't watched it, but I'd be willing to bet.
It's hard to tell because they seem to do like a lot of callbacks now, which I actually don't really like. Like they did another, like, you remember how there's like the episode where they go like it's like SpongeBob in the past. They discover fire and shit.
Yeah, the future.
No, that's a different episode. There's one.
That's a different episode?
Yeah, that's the SB129, which is like where he goes to the future and then Squidward goes in the past. There's another one called like SpongeGar, I think, and it's just about prehistoric SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward fighting over fire because they keep discovering they could cook things.
I remember that. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, it blends together because it's a similar idea, but yeah, they made a second like episode about that, but it's called SB whatever, so it's a weird like mishmash or whatever. I don't know. The point is that they do a lot of callbacks, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do like Angry SpongeBob. But the problem is they're like way too over reliant on like weird, gross faces, like exaggerated faces. But it's not like, but they're not paintings. They're like not matte paintings, which they used to be, which was like what made them funny.
Oh man. Yeah. The close up of SpongeBob's face, like where it's all grotesque, like
From whatever
he just
happened
looks.
to SpongeBob.
I don't remember the episode.
It's called Whatever Happened to SpongeBob. It's about SpongeBob gets called an idiot, and then he decides to leave Bikini Bottom, and then he gets like brain trauma, and he forgets who he is, and then he becomes the mayor of Kelp City. But then like at the end, they bring him back. He's, well, I gotta, I'm the mayor of that city now. I gotta, just do my job. And then they go on the news. Turns out it's like, by the way, the mayor actually fucked everything up, so we're gonna beat the shit out of him when he comes back. And then Sponge's like, okay, I'm back here again now. Or it's like that episode sucks except for that payoff.
I actually don't remember that one. Like that doesn't ring.
It was
That does not ring
it
a
was
bell.
like the episode was called Whatever Happened to SpongeBob, but then it was like marketed as Who Bob What Pants.
That sounds
It was
more
like
familiar.
yeah, there was like a whole like they like remember how there was like SpongeBob specials, like special episodes, but they weren't always special, like SpongeBob's House Party or like Atlantis episode. Like there were technically
Yeah.
specials, but they weren't actually. Well, it was like that where like they heavily marketed it as if it was like a big special, but it really wasn't.
Did you know the panty raid doesn't? They don't like allow that.
Yeah, it's no that's no longer aired, and there's another one that's not aired anymore.
I don't know the other one. I know about the panty raid one.
Yeah. Which I'm pretty sure that like kids don't even like understand what that is anymore, cause like frat bro comedies don't exist anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess. Yeah. I guess you're right.
Did you ever see the movie Zapped?
No.
It's a movie about a kid, like a high school, like a college kid, who by mixing beer, weed, and a bunch of random other bullshit chemicals, develops psychic powers.
This sounds. This sounds like an old ass like Nickelodeon type movie.
It's not Nickelodeon, and I'll say why, because it was in the '70s. But also, the movie is like not really funny. It doesn't really do anything. But at the very end, he uses his psychic powers to like rip a bunch of chicks' clothes off. So the ending is just a bunch of tits. So that's why like that movie is like in my top 10 movies, just for that reason.
Just for the ending.
Just for the ending.
That is a pretty good
because
ending.
because like chicks from like this like that period, like from like the late '60s into like the mid '80s is when women were like attractive, but not this like modern day attractive where it's all like kind of gross. The Kardashians look gross.
Yeah.
They look
Yeah.
like if you touched them that they'd be sticky.
That is a fucking great description of them,
Like
actually.
you ever see like old plastic, how it becomes like kind of tacky? It's like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
Kardashian shade.
Yeah.
Deserved though. Um. What's What'd you grow up watching? I grew up mostly watching SpongeBob, and I think what
Uh
else?
I watched a lot of Nicktoons. So like I watched like a lot of cartoons. Like I'd say like my favorite cartoons were probably like Ed and Eddie, Ben 10, SpongeBob, and I guess early Adventure Time too. But that was like kind of like later on, I guess.
Yeah, Adventure Time was a little
Yeah.
later. I watched like SpongeBob and a lot of Cartoon Network shit. Do you remember Mad?
I love
Or
Mad.
I mean, I don't remember anything about it. I just
Dude,
remember that it
if you
existed and
like
doesn't anymore.
so like I said this controversial opinion on Twitter, which is a lot of them, but I think Mad is better than Robot Chicken.
Ooh.
Yeah, because like if you watch Robot Chicken, whenever it parodies something made after like 2000, it doesn't really understand what it's doing, right? Like so, like an example that was given was, do you ever see the Mad parody of iCarly? Not the Mad,
I don't.
not the Mad parody of iCarly. The Robot Chicken parody of iCarly.
That sounds familiar. It sounds familiar.
Yeah, the entire joke.
Explain it to me.
The entire joke is that she leaves her webcam on while she's taking a shower.
That's a joke.
Yeah. And that's basically it. Do you know what the Mad parody of iCarly is?
No.
It's called iCarly, like it's the Mexican, and it's animated by the guy who did El Tigre. So it's a hyper stylized like Mexican parody of iCarly.
Got some flair
And
then, eh?
they make jokes that like feel like they would be like it's like someone making a joke about the actual show. Whereas the Robot Chicken one was just a like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if you left a webcam on? Like the people who make Mad actually like watched the thing that they're parodying. Do you ever see the Criminal Minecraft episode?
I think. Wait. Uh, I think so.
It's like
Criminal Minecraft.
yeah, it's like a parody of like Criminal Minds and also Minecraft.
Yeah.
Like because it's like made when Minecraft was like first coming out, like 2010, 2011, and like it like if you like watch that clip, like watch the short, it feels like it was made by someone who played Minecraft when it first came out, when it was like first coming out, who was part like playing Minecraft at the time.
Oh, Minecraft when it
Yeah,
first came out was different.
like yeah, like skeletons bursting into flames. Uh, like a guy like riding a minecart and it being totally useless because they keep placing more tracks. They keep making jokes about how like the guy doesn't know what like whether he's actually from Criminal Minds or Blue Bloods or whatever. Like it's a the point is that like people when Robot Chicken makes a parody for anything after 2000, it just feels like they didn't actually understand the thing that they're making fun of. It's very surface level.
I
Whereas
really,
Mad, it felt like they truly understood the thing that they were parodying.
I, re- I really didn't like Robot Chicken for one reason, one shitty reason. Uh, when I was asleep one night, I left the TV on, and all of a sudden, I remember very vividly Robot Chicken just fucking blasted on the TV, and it scared the shit out of me,
was
and
it
I
the,
never wanted
was it
to.
the gummy bear screaming?
I don't remember what it was. All I remember was that it scared the shit out of me. I was like, I'm never watching Robot Chicken ever again, just because of this one bad experience.
There was a scrapped Robot Chicken thing that was funny, where it was like it's Batman, it's no, it's the Flash, Superman, and Wonder Woman are like doing crime fighting, and Bizarro shows up and fucks up some shit, and Batman's like, or Superman's like, oh, I hate Bizarro, I hate Bizarro. And then the Reverse Flash shows up and says, I fucking hate the Reverse Flash. And someone's like, hey, Wonder Woman, do you have like a reverse person? And it's like, yeah, we don't like talking about Reverse Wonder Woman. And then it shows Reverse Wonder Woman. And you know how Wonder Woman was wearing like a one piece like bathing suit?
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
Yeah, reverse Wonder Woman is just like wears like gloves and leggings, but you can see her tits and her pussy, and like because it was like a deleted scene, they never censored it, so I just thought it was really funny, and that's like the best Robot Chicken sketch.
Because it includes tits.
Yeah,
Classic Chippel. Never change.
yeah, that's basically yeah. I've like, there's only two things I care about.
God damn it.
You see,
I was waiting for you to. I was waiting for you to fucking keep talking. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
I almost fucking choked on my Crown Fried Chicken.
You got Crown Fried Chicken?
Wait, that's what it's called, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Crown Fried.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're closed on Tuesdays, which sucks.
I know. I went there on I didn't know they closed on Tuesdays, so I go over there. I was like really hungry. I was like, I don't want anything else, and I walk there. The one day I decide I'm gonna walk somewhere, I walk my ass all the fucking way down there just to see that they're closed.
Yeah, they're closed on Tuesday. They're closed on Tuesday. You know what sucks? Dee's Diner is no longer open 24 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which sucks because I only ever go there like at like 3 in the morning because I would get out of work at like 10 and I drive down and leave at like, and I'd like leave there by like 11 or 12. Or I just finish up a game of D&D which goes from like 8 to like midnight or maybe even later. And then I would say see if Mike wanted to go down, and we'd go down there. But now it's closed.
Big sad, man.
Yeah, I went with Ryan, and like my car was fucked up too. That whatever. They're gonna go into sheets, which is fine, I guess.
I think one of the biggest like after effects of COVID was all the restaurants closing early. Or
Yeah,
not just restaurants, just like anywhere.
yeah, that sucks.
I hope that stops one of these days.
It's never
Or
things are never gonna get better.
yeah.
Oh, this reminds me. So I didn't talk about this last time, but a while ago was my mom's birthday, and we went over my aunt's house for pizza. And I got into an
Yep.
argument with my aunt because she said something along the lines of, like, something about life insurance. She's like, or someone had life insurance, like, and she's like, well, yeah, I don't want my kids to have like $1 million. I'm like, well, why wouldn't you want them to have, like, why wouldn't you want them to have $1 million? And it led to this
Uh,
whole argument about how, like, well, I believe they could, like, do things on their own. I'm like, okay, yeah, but like insurance
it's
is like insurance for like medical shit only covers so much. What if like there's a car accident and you need medical bills paid, or there's a cancer diagnosis because like cancer is like is really bad in my family, or what if a house burns down?
or like your mom falls down the stairs.
Yeah, what if something bad happens? Wouldn't you rather have the money? And it led basically my point was that the like from like a genetic, like purely atheistic genetic standpoint, the only reason to like exist is to perpetuate existence itself. And since you can't live forever, you do that by like having kids. And since you can't like fight to keep your kids alive after you're dead, you create like material resources to like basically creating an inheritance and a legacy for your children is basically the genetic purpose for existence, right?
Yeah.
Like the closest thing you get to like immortality is like genetic immortality through your kids. So why wouldn't you want to maximize the amount of like profit or the amount of resources you have for your kids? It's like, well, I don't want them to live in the lap of luxury. Like, well, it's not about like being luxury. It's about having like, how do you think all these people got their money? It's generational wealth. Everyone who's rich was able to get rich because they had a
Yeah.
like yeah
Yeah.
like Trump is a millionaire because his dad was a millionaire.
Small loan of $1 million.
Yeah, yeah. He was able to like he built his what he has, but he was able to build whatever he had because he had like an upstart. He had a safety net.
Yeah.
Jeff
He got
Bezos.
good. He got good spawn.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos. How was he able to make Amazon? Because his wife had money. His wife came from money, and she financed all of his shit. All these guys either had money or had like a safety net set up so that if they had resources to do this risky venture.
I actually didn't know that Bezos fact.
Yeah,
That
like
his wife.
he like the same thing goes like the Dyson sphere, those fucking like annoying avant-garde fucking uh
Yeah, those things. This.
the vacuum cleaners. Like
Oh,
the
I'm
Dyson,
so sorry. I went to a immediately different fucking.
are you talking like the
I
Dyson,
went.
the sun?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am
Which
talking about the
which
sun. I
yeah,
am talking about the fucking sun. Yes,
yeah.
that's what I'm talking
That's
about.
why I hate the Dyson guy because like actually I'm gonna name my thing after this really interesting sci-fi concept. Like no, it's a fucking vacuum. You don't get to call it that. But yeah, like
My immediate
yeah. But
reaction
like
is
Dyson
like,
fans, like the bladeless
Yeah,
fans.
yeah.
That guy was able to like get his vacuum cleaner company off the ground because his wife paid for like his engineering degree in college, and like for him to do his startup. Like everyone who's like is like wildly successful, it was able to like do so because they had resources to do so. And my point being that like you could like live a modest existence and squeak out like a modest existence, but how long until some disaster happens where it knocks you down a peg and you can't climb up that ladder any further because you don't have the resources to get up there?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm just gonna live a moderate, I'm gonna live a moderate existence. until your cozy little. I'm gonna have a nice small home to live in. Okay, it burns
Mm-hmm.
down.
Mm-hmm.
It burns down. You haven't finished paying it off. So you still pay it off, even though it's burned down. Now you're in an apartment that's too expensive. What would be your mortgage is now going to your rent. You're just never gonna be able to move up again because you don't the price because you're forever like stuck. You're never gonna be able. Like, the only way you to make more money is you like luck out in the lottery or some shit or get super 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 lucky, which you can't count on luck to like secure generational wealth.
Yeah,
And that's what pissed me off.
I could tell. Yeah, it's actually got to you, bro.
Yeah, it really got to me.
Huh. Silence.
Yeah. Okay, so apparently Bizarra is like a real villain. It's like reverse negative. It's like negative Wonder Woman. But the problem is that like she's ugly. Well, first of all, like her tits are probably bigger than regular Wonder Woman's, so that's you know. Uh,
That
but
better.
like her outfit should be the reverse. That's what the joke would be.
It's all about the titties, man. It's all about the titties.
That's what it's all about. Did you manage to implement jiggle physics into your game?
The characters are fucking. No, not, all right. No, I have not yet. The characters are like low poly zombies right
That's no
now.
excuse.
Oh,
Did you know that in Half-Life 1, the assassins that like do backflips and shit, uh
I know.
yeah, they have like a bone that's specifically designed for jiggle physics.
Yeah. I know about this actually.
Yeah, but it's turned off by default. You have to go into the settings and manually turn
Wait,
on
what?
jiggle physics. Yeah.
What? No, that should be a default.
Yeah. Did you ever see do you ever see like you're gonna the fucking original design for like the FBI chick from Half-Life 1?
No, I did not.
Half let's see here. Life.
While you're looking that up, I would like to mention that I'm working on my like survival horror game, but I'm
Yeah.
also I'm writing some of the ideas I have for the other game, the one where we want to work on together.
Oh yeah, the zombie game?
This yeah, the 7 days game or whatever the fuck
1
the weekday.
week.
Yeah, can't call it 7 days.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that a lot more recently, actually.
Yeah, what's your idea?
Um, I've just been thinking a lot about the like how everything's going to I guess work. I I have a lot of like music that's like it's some of my older stuff, so it's not great. So I think it would work really good for like the style we're trying to go with.
All
Uh,
right.
I have like some fun. Like I have this really.
I'm going to send you the picture of the original CIA combat assassin. This should have been in the game,
Oh, oh,
but
damn.
they had a cower out because yeah, just go on the Half-Life wiki, go to Black Ops and then just scroll all the way down to the concept art.
Okay.
There's one guy who's like fucking buzz saws for hands. There's one guy who's like a giant brain, but he has like it's attached to like a gun. Really cool shit. Half-Life had some really cool like Half-Life has some Valve has some really really cool like concept artists.
Oh shit. That is cool.
Yeah. So yeah, any like other ideas you have for like your the game?
Um, I was for our game. I've been doing a lot of I've been doing like thinking more. I've been slowing down progress on my little survival horror game.
Yeah.
Um, but uh, I was thinking I like your idea of having the one Japanese dude who can teach you how to use a samurai sword.
Yeah,
And I have this goofy, like, I guess Asian sounding soundtrack that we could use,
yeah,
and I think that would be good.
yeah. Speaking of jiggle physics, remember like we were playing like Left 4 Dead, and you had all those fucking mods on, and
Oh yeah.
I asked
Oh
like
yeah.
if the Chloe reskin or not Chloe, is it Chloe?
Um,
What's the
I've had
chick?
a lot of mods.
What's the chick? Zoe. Yeah. Remember it was like the Zoe reskin. I'm like, hey, does this have jiggle physics? She's like, probably
Oh
not. And
yeah.
I just like punched her and she was jiggling.
Yeah.
See, that's and I think I willed into existence jiggle physics for what's it called 3? No, 6. Was it Resident Evil 6 we were playing? Or Resident Evil 5.
No, Resident Evil 5.
Yeah, they get progressively jigglier as the game goes on.
Yeah.
There was
If I'm gonna add jiggle physics to
yeah
any game, it's gonna be our game,
yeah
the weak game.
there's this one game. It's like a Jurassic Park game. It has like a weird physics system where you like, to control your arm or whatever because like your body's like a physical thing. And do you know how you determine how much health you have?
No.
Your character's a chick, and you look down at her tits, and like on her tit there's like a heart tattoo, and it gets like more and more bloody as like your heart goes down or whatever. It's like your hit points are calculated based on like the tit tattoo.
Dude, you have 100% said these words before, and I have like that just unlocked a fucking like memory for me. You have
Yeah,
100% said this to me before.
yeah. All right. Yeah, it's boob mechanics in video games are like my favorite thing. I think we need more of them.
We do. We absolutely
Yeah.
do.
Maybe not as extreme as there's this one mod for Skyrim where if you have like the one like body type mod, it ties how much mana you have to how big your boobs are.
That's a crazy mod.
So they're constantly fluctuating in size and okay, that's funny for like a bit, but like I don't know if I'd want that as like an actual serious gameplay mechanic.
Oh hell no. That's like a fucking Thomas the Tank playthrough.
Yeah, that's might be a bit too far from me.
Damn. The
There's a guy who he did like game design. He's like severely autistic, but he's like a really like brilliant like game designer and like he's a really interesting guy. He had a game called Terahyped that he was making, but he had to stop. He had to completely stop making it because Unity fucked over, and like his files got corrupted, and he couldn't like continue development. It just fucked him over. But a
Mhm.
big thing was like, 90% of the world building was built around just to justify jiggle physics in the game. It's like,
This sounds like
the society uses like milk based plastic. I'm like, dude, like just do the jiggle physics. You don't need to like do this too much. But he had some really fun like vehicle designs, really cool lore shit, uh, good music. I'll like send you his channel because it's really good. It feels like it's if you took like my like perversion and your like ability to actually execute ideas to kind of smush them together. That's kind of what it would be.
oh man. I think that's why we work together because you come up with the ideas, but I do the coding and the work.
Yeah. Do you ever hear of Disco Elysium?
Whoa. Yes, but I don't know what it is. I've 100% heard of that. What is
I
that?
want to play it because it's a very good video game.
I know I've heard of that somewhere.
I think if you played it, I think you'd really like it. But the thing is like it's kind of like about like ideology and like a lot of people who worked on are communists. Even though the game is kind of like weirdly anti-communist. The point being that there was one guy who was like the idea guy, and he took all the credit for it, but he did
Ooh,
maybe like 10% of the actual work.
I feel like that's a common trope among
Yeah.
things I've heard in game development.
Yeah, he did maybe like 10 to 20% of the actual work, but he took like a lot of credit for it. Um, but yeah, it's I heard it's a really good game. You know Miracle of Sound?
No, I don't.
He's the guy who
Sorry.
did the he does music based on video games. He did Sovngarde song. He did uh Clockworks, which is a song based on Dishonored 2. He made that really long Mojave song I showed you.
Okay.
He basically just but he made a song called Liquid Nights and Disco Lights. It's that's about Disco Elysium, and it's really good. I listened to it because it's a really good song. It doesn't spoil anything, but it just kind of like it just kind of like captures the vibe of the game, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah. So,
yeah. So I really want to play it. The problem though was like there's like a original edition, then like a direct then like an official edition that's like different. But I heard like the official edition isn't as good because it doesn't have that whole like whatever it is.
I could not say I know.
Yeah, I'm terrible at communicating ideas.
Sometimes.
Yeah. But my point being that now that we mentioned Disco Elysium, I can mention how there's a Nick Mullins reference, which means I could put both Disco Elysium and Nick Mullins as tags in this description for the video for the podcast, and hopefully we'll get more views that way. Because really, what the podcast is just justifying tags to
Yeah, we just got to say as
yeah,
many words
yeah.
as possible.
Did you watch Deadpool and Wolverine yet?
I no, I did not. I was
Yeah,
thinking about doing it this weekend,
yeah.
but I'm not sure.
Uh, I like I said, I ended up realizing something that kind of ruins the plot for it, but it's not really about the plot. It's about like they said that it's the best movie to come out of 2003, or like the best movie to come out of 2007. Like it feel like if this movie came out in like 2007, it'd be like the greatest thing ever.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what other like uh I guess like the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie is working out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like people they kept posting like the unfinished things. Yeah. So it looks like maybe Springtrap might be in it but it could just be like an old Bonnie. I don't know.
Probably
Um,
Springtrap,
yeah. I mean, I know
considering the end of the movie.
Matt Lillard's gonna be in it. He's confirmed to be in it.
He better.
Yeah, and they're confirmed to make three of them. It's gonna be a
One of
trilogy.
my biggest problems with the first movie was the lack of,
Matt Lillard, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. There's a picture that he posted. It's him in the Springtrap costume, or like I guess technically it's Springborn because before he got went off.
Yeah.
Standing next to the prop Scooby Doo that the Jim Henson Company made for Scooby Doo 2, or for this first Scooby Doo movie. So it's really cool how like both those practical effects are together. I am really glad that they're done practically because if it was a CGI, it would have been lame.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I liked the FNAF movie. It was fun.
yeah. Apparently Scott's like disappointed or whatever.
He is?
Yeah, and like he recently did an interview, with Daco, I think his name is, and
Oh
he's like,
yeah.
yeah, he's like the two things people took away with it is that he's kind of disappointed with the way that the movie went out or was received. He wanted it to be a little bit better, and the other thing was that he still didn't answer what was inside the box. Which so I made a post. I'll send to you later explaining. But my like idea was that the box is like symbolic of the end of the series, which is what we got in Pizza Simulator. Because you know how like the layout of the map in Pizza Simulator, so it's like a rectangle.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like the box. So that's my idea. But he's like apparently what actually happened was he like just makes up shit as he goes along, and he didn't actually have an idea for what he wanted to put inside the box.
This surprises me not at all.
Yeah. I just wish you would just come out and say it because I'd have so much more respect. Yeah. Also, apparently he got divorced too, so that kind of sucks. But
Oh, that does suck.
yeah,
He's just like, guys, I didn't know what I was doing. I just
yeah,
I followed the Markiplier. I mean, sorry, the fucking Matt Pat videos.
yeah. No, he watched the MatPat videos and then did the exact opposite, like to spite him. Well, not to spite him, but to keep like I I'll tell the story because the whole D&D tangent, and we're already at an hour. But I despise when someone changes something for the sake of someone else finding out the twist first. Like Mass Effect did it, and everything. I'll talk about it later
Mm,
though, because you played Mass Effect, right?
no,
No. Well,
I played a little bit of the first
yeah.
game.
I only know about it from like the twist that was like scrapped or whatever. We'll talk about it next time.
All right.
Uh, yeah, the worst twist that'll be the next week's question.
Hey,
What
all
is the
right.
worst
That's not.
twist?
All right. Yeah,
Yeah,
but do your spiel.
yeah. What is the worst twist? I'm gonna remember that. Okay. Don't fucking interrupt this time.
What?
You keep interrupting whenever I do the ending spiel. Okay. So just a quick recap. This week's question is, what is the biggest problem solved with violence? You said Iraqis dying. I said, or no, Iraqis being alive, and I said, the sins of humanity, or going to hell forever. All right,
Mm-hmm.
that's it. Next week's question is, what is the biggest twist? What's the worst twist? We're done. We're done. Like, comment, subscribe, all that bullshit. We're fuck. Okay, done.
It's not gonna get better.
It's fuck. Let me think. I'm having a brain aneurysm. I think I'm dying.
It's not gonna get better. Remember that you gotta.
Thanks for watching and or listening. I apologize for the poor quality. It's not gonna get any better.